Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. That is the Murphy's Law. But as we also like to say in show business, the show must go on as well. Hi, this is Simon Leung from simonleung.com. Welcome back to our show. Yes, still calling it a show about nothing, but you get the idea. We always have something that we want to share. And today is actually my second live show, I believe. I had my Groove at Any Time earlier, which I will also air as a replay later on right here on this channel or page, wherever it is that you might be watching us right now. And in addition, I also had a couple of meetings that had been going on ever since the 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. my time. And so it's just been a pretty hectic and busy last several hours. It is about 1:30 p.m. my time. It is a very okay but cloudy afternoon. It is Saturday, so for all of you who are here in this part of the world, a very happy Saturday to you. If you're halfway around the world or anywhere else, definitely a very good evening to you. Hope you are looking forward to a wonderful weekend. If you're joining us for the very first time, or if you're coming back, regardless, say hi. Let us know in the comments which country you're from, the city that you're living in, as well as the time that it is, wherever it is that you might be. If you're on our YouTube channel, subscribe, turn on that bell notification. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and click on the like button on our page. You can see all these things right here, right now. Follow me if you're on Twitter or Instagram. Turn on those notifications so that we are able to go live. And of course, you will be notified whenever we do. Okay, so I'll give you a few moments to do that. If you're here right now, please don't forget to say hi, because we absolutely appreciate the opportunity to connect with you. Now, here's something that I believe is very interesting. As we mentioned, we always have different sayings like, with Murphy's Law, if things will go wrong, they will absolutely go wrong. And this does not just pertain to technology. The thing is, today we will focus just on the technological aspects of it, simply because there's so much more that we will be talking about. And I simply don't want this to be ongoing for hours and hours and hours, because I could go on all day about things that may or may not be working in our favor. However, the one thing that I do want to focus on first, and the reason why I want to talk about this particular topic, is that, actually, within the last several recent days, I've actually received a number of not so good news. Some things impact me a little bit more bigger than other things, some more negatively than other things. But as we say over and over, a lot of times you don't want to necessarily depend on situations and people that you cannot control. And so maybe none of what's been happening in terms of announcements, in terms of recent developments, none of it really has been good. But every single time I see one of those things, I see it as an opportunity for me to grow personally, an opportunity for me to become a problem solver, to solve additional issues and test my own problem-solving skills. I see this as an opportunity to contribute and ultimately to become better as well. And so we'll get more into all of these different kinds of examples and real-life scenarios in future live shows. But today, I want to talk about specifically the technological aspects, technology in general. And one thing that I learned a very long time ago, you don't want to fight against technology, because when you do, you will never win. And if you go as far as to watch the recent interview that I did with Mr. Asher, that we published maybe just about 12 hours ago, maybe 13 hours ago now. We went live last night, my time. But as you can see, a whole bunch of technology issues started happening. He was running in slow motion. He was, not necessarily picking up the microphone. He started freezing, and then I started freezing. And these were all things that we simply couldn't control. Later on, we figured out a potential issue may have been on his side, where he set the FPS a little bit too high for us to handle on the technology scale. But in the end, what we realized is that regardless of different issues that might be happening, the show absolutely must go on. So I will talk more about that in just a moment. Again, if you are here, you're watching us, please don't be shy and don't hesitate to say hi and be here and let us know what it is that you are up to, because on this show, it's all about you. It's all about what we can do to potentially strategize to help you to reach your goals. And every time we talk about different things, and we do go off on tangents many times as well, because we want to make sure that we're able to assist you as well. Okay, so we got P Mana Studio asking, am I in Penang? Well, as a matter of fact, I am in Penang, on the island of Penang. I am staying near Queens Bay, and here in Malaysia, we say stay instead of live. I live in Penang. Usually that's the way that I would say it, but now we're in Malaysia, and everyone here says, where do you stay? I stay in Penang. I'm staying near Queens Bay Mall. So if you're around here, let me know that you are around here as well. Thank you very much for joining us, P Mana Studio. We got Nicholas, one of our leaders within our Groove community, as well as within my own private mastermind. A huge shout out to you, Mr. Nicholas. Great talking to you earlier this afternoon. He says, good day, mate. Great to see you. Kicking off again. Hashtag Groove Inspiration. It's all about inspiring. It's all about what we can do to motivate one another. And I'm very excited about all the things that we were able to discuss. We have a Facebook user friend who is joining us probably from within one of our private groups, and that is why we cannot see you, unfortunately, as your name wouldn't show up inside of our private group. So instead, if you can do me a favor and join me right here on my page, facebook.com/the Simon Leung, hopefully Restream will be able to show me who you are instead of simply Facebook user. Okay, so we typically try not to show up when it comes to all the people who don't have their name being displayed. So when you go to the actual page, hopefully we're able to see your name. Okay, so Pimana is saying delaying a little bit the stream. That's the way that it works, and we've been telling you this since day one. The reason why it does that is because we are using a system that multi-streams across multiple different platforms. So at first, the stream needs to go to this tool first, and then the platform then streams off to other platforms. And so whether you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch or Twitter or any one of our Facebook pages, our groups, my profile, or whatever else, it does take some time to actually get there. And wait, we're talking about technology today, right? Delay is actually a very small issue. In fact, it's not even a problem. If you want to see real problems, I'll be talking to you about that in just a moment's time. Fellow Malaysian, right? Akan datang. Okay, it means coming soon. For those of you who don't speak Malay or Bahasa or Indonesia, basically it means coming soon. We'll be talking more about that in just a moment. Bimana is also saying, yes, I'm here around Bayan Baru. We're also in this area. As I mentioned, I am in Queens Bay. So if we're able to go out one of these days after the CMCO or whatever else, I think we're maybe just 5 or 10 minutes away. So, okay, let's go out. Makana, right? Let's go out, hang out, do whatever. It's all a part of what we're doing. Cool. So thank you very much for all of you who are here for joining us. We're getting messages from Edmund asking if this is live. Yes, we are live. But right now, we are going to be focusing on the topic of today, okay? Because the topic of today is we want to share with you what you should do when it comes to technological issues, when it comes to different things that go wrong. I mentioned that during this past week, these several days alone, there were actually many things that I feel like actually went wrong in my own business, in my own professional associations, in other businesses and companies that I am collaborating with or working with or have teams with. And in reality, that's just life, isn't it? Always when things have the potential to go wrong, they will simply go wrong. And when that happens, unfortunately, we just need to figure out how to become problem solvers and how to actually deal with all those different things. Now, some of these I may share, some of these I may not share in our future sessions about the show must go on, how we resolve all these problems in our day-to-day lives. But this time, today, I want to talk more specifically about the technological issues, some of which I happen to have already addressed over the past few days as well. For example, I've been telling you how simonleon.com, my website, has been down for the past few days. And that's because with all the anticipation of the webinars that I was doing, with all the new initiatives that I was launching for different communities and different teams, we had so much excitement going on that unfortunately, we had so many people going to the sites that my servers just simply crashed. It couldn't handle it. And we're still in communication with the web host to make sure that we can get the site back up. They're like going back and forth, and it just become a very technical process and overly complicated. But of course, we're still working on getting that done soon. But what happens when your site is down? Well, everything that I want to show you, right? Everything that we've been showing you, including an invitation to my mastermind group, including an invitation for you to check out simonleon.com/grooveathon, where I host a groove at night, including my recommendation to you to check out Restream or just to go to my websites in general. All these things go straight out the window, doesn't it? Because you can't get the site to load. You get some kind of error, 504, 505, 506. I don't even remember the number, right? But the point is, it doesn't work. Anything that I have forwarded, anything that I've set up a redirect for, none of them are active at the moment. So does that mean that I have a standstill in my resources, in my businesses, in everything that I do? Of course it does. But it also means that the show must go on. It doesn't mean that just because my site is down that I'm not going to go live, right? I'm still here. I still did my other shows. I still started with, hi, this is Simon Leon from simonleon.com. Even though the site isn't working right now, I'm still continuing to do that because, again, this is technology, isn't it? So even though right now live in person, what is it? 1:35 Saturday at November 21st. Yes, so for those of you who are wondering if we're live, yes, we're live. For those of you who just happen to be in the exact same date and time that I just mentioned. But if you're watching this on the replay, of course, it's going to be sometime in the future, right? But what that means is that even though it's not working right here, right now, as I mentioned, some of you will be watching us on the replay. Some of you will be watching us tomorrow, a week from now, a month from now, next year, even perhaps, maybe 5 years, 10 years into the future. I don't know. And so with that, hopefully at that point in time, simonleon.com will be active. All the resources and all the redirects and all the links that you just saw will be active. And so that's why we say the show must go on. We still need to continue to proceed as if nothing is wrong, per normal, because this is just the way that we roll, okay? And so in addition to my website, I had to learn a brand new system this past week called, well, it's not a brand new system. It's not new. I used this over 10 years ago, but because I stopped doing webinars for a while, I stopped dealing with technology for a while, I stopped using webinar systems. In fact, I used another webinar system that isn't this system, but because I'm working with a company that is servicing a lot of different community members that are using this particular tool, I'm now trying to relearn all the brand new features within GoToWebinar. And I'll tell you, it was a steep learning curve. It was basically new tools, new updates, new features that weren't available over 10 years ago when I first started using it. It's basically like a brand new system to me. I had to figure out a lot of new things. I had to figure out how to show my screen. It was completely different. I had to figure out how to use it to show my webcam at the same time and also play a video and have the audio sync at the same time and basically show all my screens. And it was just a whole bunch of what we call a hot mess, because in my opinion, a lot of the features, the UI, have actually changed. But in terms of the presentation, it didn't change, which means a lot of the things that were cool 10 years ago that are no longer cool today, well, they unfortunately still had those features inside of GoToWebinar right now, which meant that if I wanted to just as easily as making sure that my face doesn't just simply show up above my screen, I want to have my face show up in the middle of the screen while the presentation is showing, while the slides are showing, while I'm giving the live demos, and control where I want that webcam to actually be displayed. I can't do that because the old school display of the screen is still there. And so not only that, I, after a long time of trying to figure that out, realized that it doesn't work, I realized that I also needed to learn a brand new system if I wanted to get around that. Now, I've been using OBS Studio. And from my friend Asher, whom I talked about earlier, right? I learned that you can actually do a lot of different things. You can create scenes, you can create different windows within a screen of how you want it to look. And so I played around with that. I gave a short demo of it yesterday of what I learned during the live show from hell, because so many things went wrong, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. But of course, with all of that, I also learned a brand new thing, which would be more compatible with what I want GoToWebinar to display, what I wanted to show, and everything along those lines. So that continued on with learning more things. And speaking of things going wrong, for whatever reason, just moments before I was supposed to go live, I believe this was just a few days ago, in one of my other communities, well, Facebook suddenly decided that they were going to deactivate my account. They said that, oh, maybe there is some phishing going on. Maybe that somebody's trying to hack into your account and I wasn't able to log in, which also meant that immediately right afterwards, everything that was connected on my live streams, they got disconnected from Facebook. I was not able to log in. I was not able to connect it to the groups that I wanted to live stream in. I was not even able to live stream into the pages that I wanted to go live. And unfortunately, at that moment, just to add salt to the wound, I'm not an admin for those particular pages. I don't have admin status. So even though right afterwards, I took a few minutes as the clock down timer was going down and it was saying, oh yeah, 10 minutes away, 8 minutes away, 5 minutes away, 3 minutes away, you're 1 minute away from going live. And I'm still trying to figure all these things out. I was not able to reconnect back to the page. And so finally, at the last possible second, I reached out to the CEO of the company, and this person was able to help me get all these things connected. But at the same time, because I got disconnected from this one live stream, another one of the platforms that I was using to go live on this particular channel, this particular page for this particular show, it also never reconnected and it never showed me that it got disconnected. And so I went on live, and without my knowledge and without my attention, without even knowing, I wasn't actually live in many of the platforms I normally stream to. So there I was talking to myself, wondering why nobody is watching, wondering why there is no interaction. And all the while, it turned out that I wasn't even live streaming in the first place. Good news was that it did get recorded, and I basically restreamed it, right? I played a recording as if it was live. And so that was our way of moving forward just a little bit. The show still went on, and that's why it had the recording, and that's why we're still able to move forward and still able to move through. So just so that you know, all these things from Facebook giving me messages like I couldn't share posts, all these different actions being banned for no good reason. I was forced to change my password. Everything got disconnected and I wasn't even able to stream properly. And this was across all multiple shows. So again, a clear indication if things can go wrong, they will go wrong. And it was just a really crazy week in terms of technology issues and everything along those lines. And just speaking of streaming, right? Yesterday, I was using this same tool that I was sharing with you earlier, which you cannot access right now if you're watching us live, but I was using Restream, and Restream was actually very, very slow. And I had my friend Asher on where we're talking about, overcoming your problems and your issues. And coincidentally enough, the entire time for at least the first 45 minutes, we continue to experience all these issues. Sometimes his screen will freeze. Sometimes mine will freeze. Sometimes he will just completely be frozen or moving in slow motion, being completely laggy. And almost the entire time, you can see that the voice is not syncing with my mouth either. And this is something that happens with all these live streams. It was happening much more so clearly and evidently and obviously yesterday, as opposed to the rest of the time, because we had two people on the screen and both were out of sync. Sometimes the entire screen would be frozen for 1 or 2 minutes at a time with no sound whatsoever. So it looked like the entire program just froze. So all those things that we said, all those things that we were sharing, maybe the people who were on live were able to actually hear us, but those who are watching the replay, all they see is a frozen face. And they fast forward 1 minute, 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes later, then we continue once again. But that's why we say the show must go on, because now you're not really thinking ahead. Maybe for those who are watching live, it's frozen, but those who watch the replay, they will be able to see everything working fine. Maybe it's the other way around. Those who are watching live, they see everything fine, but those who watch the replay, now everything's laggy, everything's frozen, and nothing's working out, regardless for one audience or another. Even if it's only for 5 people, one person who might be watching it at the time where everything is working, the show must go on for that one person. So the point is, the name of the game, don't give up. Don't let things stop you. Don't let things stand in your way. Yes, this happened multiple times. We were frozen. The sound was gone. But at the same time, it was nothing that we could do about it. There was nothing that I can do to resolve it right then and there. I restarted, I refreshed my page a few times. The same thing happened. At one point, finally, Asher kind of maybe figured out what was wrong. He set his speed at 60 FPS instead of 30. Maybe Restream wasn't able to handle it, but it also didn't really explain why I was freezing up. It didn't explain why some of the interaction that were coming in, I didn't actually get to see those comments. So unfortunately, we weren't able to engage for those people who sent in those comments at that point in time. But of course, the show still went on. We still continued, and we still continued to go on, even though if you take a look at some of the replays right now, at certain aspects of the show, I will be the first to admit it was completely unwatchable. So if you actually see those, it's frozen, just fast forward maybe 5-10 seconds at a time until you start to see the screen start to move again. That's basically what we will need to do. But because the show went on, that's why you're able to fast forward into the parts where finally we were able to reconnect with you again, where finally you're able to watch the show again, hear what we're saying, what we're sharing, and all those things along those lines. Because in the end, we want to make sure that we don't let anything stop us. We still continued. We still kept talking. We still continue to present as normal. So whether we're talking about live streams, whether we're talking about live in-person shows or live in-person presentations or seminars, again, all these live things and other things not associated with technology, which we'll talk about another time, the show must still go on. Don't let these be your excuses to stop dead in your tracks. Don't say, oh, it looks like there's a delay on the screen. It looks like you're freezing up. It looks like there's some issues that's going on. It looks like you're lagging, blah, blah, blah. And we use that as an excuse to not move forward, right? Technology is always going to stand in the way. It's always going to have problems for us. It's not going to stop when 2020 is over. It's not going to stop with brand new things that launch in 2021. It's something that we will continue to experience every single day. And this is something that will continue to be a part of this for a very long time to come. Okay, so for those of you who are here and for those of you who are joining us, we are basically going to continue to see what we can do for you. Even though things will go wrong, technology will go wrong, that is the basis of life. We need to make sure that we don't give up, that we continue. Okay, already go to your YouTube class last time. Thank you very much for joining us at our YouTube class. Hopefully, thank you. By the way, you are also joining us from your YouTube channel. I will check out your YouTube channel later on to see what kind of progress you have made. But thank you very much for sticking with us. Edmund is asking any suggestions to help me stay engaged with my own lives. As a matter of fact, if you go back and watch any of my previous live streams on this particular channel and on this particular page that you should actually be seeing right now, we've been talking about live streams for at least the first several episodes. So whether it's on a technology standpoint or whether it's about getting people to engage and all those different things, we've already talked about them for hours and hours and hours at a time. So obviously with that, it's not easy for me to just summarize something in a 1-minute answer or a 30-second answer. I encourage you, if you get the chance, you get the opportunity, go back to my YouTube channel right here, youtube.com/Simon Leung, go back into and find my playlist with my live stream shows and just check out some of the previous replays on the shows that we did about live streams, because for the first several episodes, everything that I talked about, even up until now, I think we're still talking about the topic of live streams, how you can improve in your presentation, how to deal with trolls, how to deal with haters, all the things that can go wrong when you're on live. Everything is about live stream relays. So if you're interested, and I see as well that you are part of our private mastermind, please go ahead, be active. Even if you're interested, practice with doing some of your own live shows in there, because it is our goal for all of you to, whatever your objectives are, to be able to share what you want. Okay, so with Bimana, again, thank you for your knowledge. You are very welcome. We have somebody who is also sharing within our private group. If you're watching this live and your name is not showing, please join the live via this link so we can see your name. Facebook.com Simon Leung or Facebook.com The Simon Leung is actually the main page where you will be able to turn on your notifications. Okay, as you can see right here, there is a the right before my name. That is the actual page that will allow you to turn on the notifications. So whether you want to go there or whether if you're watching us live right now and go directly to my profile, it is up to you. And that's definitely some additional ways that we can get in touch. We also got Stacy saying hi from YouTube. Thank you for saying hi. I think we said hi, I believe, just moments ago, right? Whether it was I don't remember because we do so many of these live shows. I had another live show right before this one. If we said hi and engaged in that one, or whether it was the one that we did 13, 14 hours ago, Stacy, thank you very much for joining us once again. Always great to hear from you. Edmund, thank you for letting me know that you will be right back. It's okay, actually. If you need to go somewhere, you can just go. This is not a chat. It's not through Messenger. We don't really need to know if you need to, raise your hand and go to the bathroom or whatever else. You can just go ahead and do it. No worries. No hard feelings, my man. Top Cakes from YouTube is saying hi. And Robert is showing up here once again, getting us pumped up and ready for Groove Stream. Yes, absolutely. Robert is another one of our community members in another one of the live shows that I just did. We just heard from Robert and now we're hearing from Robert again. So it's also always very cool to interact with all of you who are in multiple of our communities so that we are able to interact with you. If you're interested in doing that as well, we absolutely welcome you to do so. Of course, if you're joining us on the replay, as soon as our site comes back up, you can go ahead and do that. Go to simonleung.com/mastermind. But as well, before this actually comes back up, if you're watching us live and you don't know how to join us, but you're interested, here is another site that is not down, knock on wood, right? It is a site that is live right now. Go to myinternetbuilder.com. You will be able to join another one of our communities called the Groove Community. Get your free lifetime membership right there, right now. And once you sign up for your free account, you will receive an email that will send you to the mastermind, which doesn't get redirected right now from this particular site because simonleung.com is currently down. Remember, we're talking about technology issues. We are definitely having our fair share of technological issues as we speak. But again, we always work with workarounds. We come up with solutions, and our solution right now, go to myinternetbuilder.com, sign up for your free Groove community account. Even if you're already a Groove member, sign up again anyway, because what's going to happen is that right after you get your free account, you will get emailed a link to our private mastermind group where you will be able to join us, and you will get connected with a lot of the top leaders within our community, within my own personal network, who will be able to help you with a lot of different things, whether it's about live streams, whether it's about video marketing, becoming a YouTuber, whether it's about driving leads to webinars, or whatever else. There is so much that we want to learn. And we have Helen from KL saying hi. Finally, you say hi. She's talking about how her husband is always watching me on the live shows, but he never says hi. But here is Helen Lee. I've known Helen for probably 10 years now, it feels like, close to that. We've worked together. We're great friends. We have a close relationship. So for anyone who also wants to be connected with Helen, I invite you to do so if she accepts you as a friend, because here's a hint. She's going to be working with me. Maybe she doesn't know this just yet, but there are opportunities for you, Helen, to be working with me again very, very soon if you are interested. Okay. And so let's go ahead and keep the conversation open for all of that. Again, for all of you who are here joining us for the first time, watching us for the first time, or maybe coming back and never interacted, or maybe if you have interacted, go ahead and leave your comments, give us a hi, and of course, we absolutely appreciate the opportunity to connect with you, both publicly as well as privately. There is a lot that we want to share. And again, great to see you as well, Helen. 食咗飯未啊? 影啲相俾我睇啊, okay? Because we want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, okay? So all the CMCO lockdowns and everything else, make sure that y'all taking care. In conclusion, before we wrap up, because we still have a great rest of the day that I want to enjoy with my family, we want to take that walk around the complex like we normally do and see whenever we have the opportunity to maybe sneak out a little bit. Yes, we are on lockdown, but it's semi-lockdown, so sometimes we can get away with it. Don't tell anybody though, okay? So with all of you, wherever you might be, I'm sure that you want to get on with your day or your night as well. In conclusion, when it comes to things going wrong, when it comes to being a problem solver, when it comes to the show must go on, it is way more than just technology. Tech is relatively new, right? Technology is relatively new in terms of being around just for the past, 10, 15, 20 years, maybe, since we've been so dependent on computers and devices and things like that. But when it comes to traditional problems, traditional things that do go wrong, these things have been going around for thousands and thousands of years. Before the beginning of time, before we were born, before we even came into the picture. So when we talk about how things are going to go wrong, it's nothing new. We need to know how we can be problem solvers, and that's ideally the way that we should actually be proceeding with our lives as well. This is also what I teach my little one, right? I teach her to think in terms of solutions, become a problem solver. Don't tell me that you are hungry. Tell me what you want to eat. Because number one, that trains you to become a problem solver. Number two, when you're saying, Daddy, I want pizza today. Well, it's to your benefit, right? Because now you can actually suggest what that solution is. If you say you're hungry, okay, here's some oatmeal, here's some rice, here's something else that maybe she wants, maybe she doesn't want. But in that case, in that scenario, she's taking the solution right out of the equation. She has no say. She has no control. And that is the same for every single one of us. Don't tell me that you have a question. Tell me what your question is. Don't ask me, what can we do today? Tell me what you want to do. Don't ask me how I can help you. Tell me how you want to be helped. Be specific. Know to be a problem solver, and don't just think in terms of problems. Again, problems have been around ever since the beginning of time. It is now our responsibility, especially in 2020, a whole new world, a whole new universe full of problems. We don't just say, oh my gosh, 2020 happened, I'm out of business. I can't run my seminars anymore. I can't run my events anymore. I can't travel anymore. These is all parts of thinking in terms of problems. And then what do those people do? They start feeling sorry for themselves. I need to go out and protest. I need to go out and start causing riots. I need to complain online about my government, about the lockdowns, about wearing masks. All these things are thinking in terms of problems. Become the solution provider. Yes, people lost jobs. Yes, people lost businesses. And that is the problem. But don't just stop there. What is the solution? What is your next plan of attack? How will you plan for a better 2021? How will you resolve those issues? How will you find new ways to make money online? How will you start a brand new business that doesn't depend on other people, that doesn't depend on other situations, that doesn't depend on you being able to go outside? How can you build a new business from the comfort of your own home and do all these things online? Something that I've been preaching for the past 15 years. It takes some people longer than others to actually see the light. But if you've been around for as long as I have, if you've been following what I've been sharing, if you've been applying what I've been sharing, you would notice that whoever does right now in 2020, they are in much better situations than those who chose not to follow me. Those who chose not to do internet marketing, those who even invested in courses but chose not to do anything about it, right? There are so many people who could be off on a much better position than they are at right now, as long as they had taken action. So it's not too late. As we say, 2020 is here. We know what to expect. Let the last 5 weeks of 2020 use this time to prepare for a much better 2021, to leverage on technology. Even though we know that things will go wrong, yes, they will. But in the end, we still need to make sure that we still do whatever we can, do whatever it is that we can control, as far as we can control them, to be able to resolve our problems. Okay, so yes, problems will occur. Traditional problems have been occurring for thousands of years. And when it comes to technology, it is expected that these problems will happen as well. So still strong today in terms of knowing what it is that we need to do to resolve problems. And if you are a strong problem solver, regardless of whether it's online, offline, technology related, or just life in general, you will be able to solve these problems, okay? And as we say, the show must go on, and we'll talk about more things that are not associated with technology yet another time. So as far as the content that I have for you here today, that is all that I have. In fact, time is of the essence. It is already 2 p.m. and I am rushing to go out and actually have our lunch and walk around and make sure that it looks like the sky is getting dark, it's about to rain. I want to make sure that all these things we're able to do before the weather changes on us again. Things that we cannot control, but the things that we can control is to take fast, massive action, right? Which means moving forward, moving on, doing something bigger and better despite what is happening around you. And before I say goodbye, one last message from Robert, or we chose to go to markets and say that I will help you to reach out to all of the people who used to come to the market and can't anymore. Absolutely. Right now, especially in this day and age, it is imperative that we shift our mindset, become not only problem solvers for ourselves, but also for other people, be in the position to help other people and do whatever it is that you need to do as well. So with all of that, take your moments. Breathe, as you say. It is absolutely important that we take care of ourselves, our own health. Be able to help yourself first before you even offer to help other people. We talk about fake gurus, people who pretend to be people whom they're not, and they're not in the position to help other people. They have other intentions. For example, stay away from those people. More importantly, don't be one of them. Instead, communicate and be a part of a community that will be able to help you, that will be able to share with you with the right intentions. Do this right now. Go to myinternetbuilder.com, sign up for the free account. Whether or not you are a part of that community, sign up for it anyway, because you will immediately receive an email to be a member of my private mastermind, where we will be able to share even more with you and help you even more personally and contribute with not just myself, but fellow leaders on how we can collectively help one another all the way to success. So with that, regardless of where you are right here in Malaysia or this time zone in Australasia, we have a lot of people who are in this area of the world. Have a great afternoon, have a great evening, have a good night. If you're halfway around the world in the US, make sure that you enjoy the rest of your weekend because it is just starting for you. Have a good morning if you're there. Have a good afternoon if you're there. But regardless, we're moving forward and ahead. So for the rest of you who are watching us on replay, hope you have a great time. Hope you enjoyed the replay. Hope you're able to get everything fixed and everything in terms of technology. Keep in mind, they will go wrong. They might go wrong. We might not get the replay, but we might get the replay. All these possibilities, they might happen. The most important thing is that you're ready to tackle any problems that might come across your way. Okay, so with all of that, I wish you a great rest of the weekend. I may or may not be on tomorrow, but if I do, I will say hi. If not, I will see you next week. So until then, we'll catch you on the next round, and I will see each and every single one of you. Should you let the show go on, and should you become a problem solver, I will see you when you join me all the way at the top. Cheers.